everyone, welcome to the DC Top 10. This week is number 2. This week I'm starting and we'll have Shawnee soon after with his video game storyline. Well, this week we look at the best film from the Star Wars franchise, The Empire Strikes Back. I won't go into the whole story behind Star Wars because if you don't know by now, you are actually watching the wrong show. Empire Strikes Back begins 3 years after the events of A New Hope. The Rebel Alliance has suffered setbacks in their struggle against the Galactic Empire. Princess Leia now leads a contingent that includes Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, you know who plays him, in a hidden base on the ice planet Hoth. A probe droid, one of many sent out by Darth Vader throughout the galaxy in hopes of finding Luke and the other rebels, lands on Hoth. Luke goes to investigate but is ambushed by a big furry wampa looking thing. Basically like a Yeti. While Han Solo searches for him, Luke frees himself from the Yeti's cave, we'll say, or the Wampa, with his lightsaber, but soon succumbs to the freezing temperatures of the snowy wasteland. The spirit of his late mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, appears before him and instructs him to go to the planet Dagobah to train under Jedi Master Yoda, voiced by Frank Oz. Han manages to find Luke and uses the warmth of his dead Tauntaun, or whatever way you want to pronounce it, basically like a ugly looking camel, to keep him alive while they wait to be rescued. Just as Luke recovers, the Imperial fleet launches an attack using gigantic AT-AT walkers. The rebel mount a strong defence and Luke brings down a single walker by using his lightsaber, or disabling it using his lightsaber. But the base is nonetheless captured. Han and Leia escape on the Millennium Falcon with C-3PO and Chewbacca, but their hyperspace drive malfunctions and they must hide in an asteroid field. Luke escapes with R2-D2 in an X-wing fighter and crash lands on Dagobah. He is soon found by a diminutive Yoda, who at first pretends to be a simple swamp inhabitant in order to test Luke's patience. After conferring with Obi-Wan Kenobi's spirit, Yoda accepts Luke as his pupil. Han and Leia end their bickering and grow closer, but their courtship is interrupted when they flee a giant asteroid worm. They avoid capture again by attaching the Millennium Falcon directly to the side of a Star Destroyer in Vader's fleet. Frustrated at having lost them, Vader turns to several notorious bounty hunters, including one Boba Fett. Meanwhile, Luke begins a brief period of intensive training during which his powers to use the Force grow exponentially. He suffers a setback when he fails the test and sees a vision of his own face inside Darth Vader's helmet. Then he becomes troubled by premonitions of Han and Leia in pain and leaves to save him, promising to Yoda that he will return to complete his training. Having escaped detection, Han lets his ship float away with the rest of Star Destroyer's rubbish, and sets a course for the Cloud City on the planet Bespin. It is run by Han's old friend Lando Calrissian, played by Billy D. Williams, I think it is. But shortly after they arrive, he turns him over to Vader to prevent the takeover of his city. Vader uses them as bait to lure Luke into a trap. Vader intends to hold Luke in suspended animation, known as carbonite freezing, and uses Han as a test subject for the process. Leia and Han profess their love, and he is frozen in a block of carbonite. Reneging on his deal with Lando, Vader gives Han's body to Boba Fett, who plans to present it as a prize to Jabba the Hutt. Lando frees Leia, Chewbacca and C-3PO, but they are too late to free Han, forcing them to flee in the Millennium Falcon without him. Meanwhile, Luke has arrived at the Cloud City as Vader planned. Luke and Vader engage in a lightsaber duel that leads them over the central air shaft of the Cloud City. Vader severs Luke's right arm, disarming him, and reveals that he is actually Luke's father. Oh my god. Horrified, Luke refuses Vader's order to rule the galaxy at his side, choosing instead to throw himself down the air shaft. Fucking idiot. He slides through a tube system and is ejected but catches onto an antenna under the floating city. He makes a desperate telepathic plea to Leia who senses it and persuades Lando to return for him. The Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive, finally repaired by the R2-D2, escapes. On board a rebel medical frigate, Luke is fitted with an artificial hand. As Luke, Leia, R2-D2 and C-3PO look on from a medical centre, Lando and Chewbacca set out to rescue Han. With another follow-on film, Return of the Jedi, 3 prequels, an animated series, several video games, and a huge selection of merchandise, as a sequel, Empire Strikes Back made Star Wars one of the most successful franchises in sci-fi and film history. The factors that made this happen: the introduction of characters such as Yoda, the Emperor, and Boba Fett, which are some of the most memorable characters in the Star Wars universe. Along with these were some of the most memorable scenes, such as the Rebel battle on Hoth, Han's being turned into carbonate, and the lightsaber battle between Luke and Vader. But what made this film the success that it was had to be the 2 huge plot twists in the film, which was a rare thing to see in a sci-fi film of those days. Of course, I refer to, of course, Luke learning that Vader is his father, and he also learning that Leia is his sister, even though she kissed him in A New Hope, galactic incest. That's all from me this week. Sorry about the mess ups. See you next week for number 2.
No, I am your father.
Hey dudes, hope you enjoyed Kevin's little segment there. I know I did. Right, at number 3 this week is Half-Life, a sci-fi FPS developed by Valve. Now, the series follows the actions of theoretical physicist Gordon Freeman. Set in the Black Mesa research facility sometime between 2000 and 2009. Freeman is a survivor of a resonance cascade caused by a failed experiment. Now, this caused rips in dimensional space and subsequently parasites from the Zen dimension enter the facility through the seams. Trying to make his way out of the facility, he encounters a group of Spec Ops Marines dispatched to cover up the incident. With help from the surviving scientists, Freeman is teleported to the alien world Zen to kill the aliens leader, the Neelanth. Once successful, Gordon is put into stasis by an unknown entity known as the G-Man, who has been observing Gordon's progress through Black Mesa. The expansion pack shows different perspectives of the resonance cascade. Like in Decay, we follow Gina Cross and Colette Green and their attempts at sealing the dimensional rift. Although successful, they are found dead in later expansions. In Blue Shift, we follow security guard Barry Calhoun and his successful attempt at escaping Black Mesa, along with a few scientists, namely one Dr. Rosenberg, with the help of a decommissioned teleporter and a company SUV. Opposing Force, on the other hand, follows one of the Spec Ops Marines, Adrian Shepard, as his team is decimated by the Zen forces. Allying himself with the Black Mesa personnel, he disables a nuke. However, during his exploits, a new enemy emerges, Race X. After stopping their advances by killing the Gene Worm, Shepard is transported onto an Osprey with the G-Man. Witnessing this destruction of Black Mesa by way of nuke, Shepard is detained by the G-Man and so far has never been heard of again. Not much is known about the events between Half-Life 1 and 2. It seems that the rift opened in 1 attracts the attention of a race known as the Combine. Both human and Zen forces are decimated in a 7-hour war. Former director of Black Mesa, Wallace Breen, is appointed overseer by the Combine, and a resistance is formed between the humans and the Zen Vortigons. Leading this resistance is Eli Vance and Isaac Kleiner, both former scientists at Black Mesa, along with Barney Calhoun, Alex Vance, which is Eli's daughter, and finally Dr. Judith Mossman. 20 years after the first game, Freeman is bought out of status by the G-Man on a train inbound to City 17. Freeman joins the resistance movement, striking key blows against the Combine occupation. He is able to lead the resistance in an attack upon the Combine's citadel. With help from Alex, Freeman stops Breen's escape and destroys the Combine teleporter. Once again, the G-Man intervenes and places Gordon in stasis. In episode 1, however, we find that the Vortigons freeing Freeman for their status. Jeez, that's fucking difficult to say. Searching the ruins of the Citadel, Alex finds a data packet along with a message from Mossman. Helping Barney and the last of the survivors escape City-17, Freeman and Alex board a train and leave just before an explosion wipes out what's left of the city. Episode 2 continues the story with Freeman trying to reach White Forest, a resistance outpost where Eli and Kleiner, along with Dr. Magnuson, another survivor of Black Mesa, are trying to close the Combine portal forever. Along the way, Alex is attacked. Luckily, and with help from a passing Vortigaunt, she is healed. However, during her healing, the G-Man appears, still following Gordon's progress, and reveals that Alex is more important than anyone realises. Reaching White Forest, the remnants of the Combine are successfully repelled and a rocket is launched, closing the Combine super portal. In a shocking epilogue, Eli Vance is killed by a Combine advisor, with Alex and Gordon narrowly surviving thanks to the intervention of Alex's robot, Dog. Hopefully, episode 3 will be released soon and we can finally find out what happens next. Half-Life deserves the number 3 spot mainly because of the elusive G-Man. We really don't know anything about him, who he works for or his motives. He seems to be helping, although at certain points he also hampers the player's progress. The other characters are equally intriguing. Alex and Gordon develop affections for each other, while Dog provides the comic relief in many of his epic battles. The Vortigaunts pose philosophical questions and seem to know more than they actually let on. The Resistance is for the most part on the losing side, and strangely enough it is unclear if the final battle will be in fact a victory. In closing, Half-Life deserves this spot for its enigmatic nature and believable character relations. I'll see you next week for number 2, and well, talk to you later.
Dr. Freeman.